Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome back to the Writer's Room with Rach and Kari. Today we are here with, we have one person, two different URLs. Kari, are you here? Kari? Am I just talking to myself?
You turned off my microphone and I forgot to turn it back on. I'm here.
Good thing we love you.
This is going great.
It's a good thing we love you. Good thing we love you.
This is why I don't do things alone. This is why I have a Rachel.
Hey, good for something. We are here with Tiara, that is at Mama Peterson, aka at Mrs. Squirrel-chester, dashes between that. So
yes, hello everybody.
Yeah, so today we are here talking about AUs.
And maybe we should start defining what an AU is. It's basically means alternate universe for those of you who are new to fan fiction or just don't write outside of canon stuff. And there's a lot of different ways to define it, but to me it is taking the characters and writing completely outside the supernatural verse. It's not a Jin dream or time traveling or canon divergence in any kind. It's taking them out of the world that they are in normal and putting them in either our world or a completely other fantastical world.
Yeah, so like it is exactly what it says it is. It's an alternate universe.
Yeah.
So it could be like, let's see, what alternate universes have we done, Kari? I've done my emergency services, which is my little Drabble series with Fireman Dean.
Yeah.
That would be an example of an AU. Kari's Killzone with
which is not on Tumblr anymore, so it's a horrible example. But right now I'm doing a caffeine and social worker reader AU ties that bind, and I'm doing Dean Winchester and the Sword of Angels, which is kind of an Indiana Jones AU.
But the point is, they're not. They're not.
Yeah.
You don't have Sam and Dean sometimes they're usually their brothers still, but they're not like crime. They're not crime fighting. That's not a bad. That's a bad word, but monster fighting.
Yeah, they're not hunters. They are in a. There can still be monsters in the world they are in. They are just a different kind, because there's werewolf AUs and zombie AUs and stuff where it's not the supernatural, so it can still be that. So we established that we both like writing AUs, I guess, and that we
have so much more room to play with.
Yeah, and Tiara is here because she writes a lot of AUs. So maybe we could talk a little bit about first if all of us prefer writing AUs or prefers writing in the canonverse.
I mean, they both have their advantages.
I think that I, for myself, have figured out that doing the supernatural bingo, that I don't like writing AUs that much in one shots actually. Doing 25 different AUs as one shots is a lot, but in series where I can really play with the world I put them in and I can really play with the characters, I tend to prefer writing AUs, I think. Yeah, how about you, Tiara? How do you feel about canonverse or AU? Did we lose you?
Me?
Tiara?
Yes, I'm here.
Yeah. What do you prefer writing, canonverse or AU?
I'm pretty keen to AU, actually. I started out writing with features in the world that you're creating, you're putting them into. So I like being able to have more range.
it's what is the hardest thing about creating an AU?
Oh goodness, the hardest thing about creating an AU, I guess just making sure that everything fits. If it's not going to fit, if you don't see Dean saying something like that, then it's not going to work. It doesn't fit.
You have to keep the characters, no matter what universe you put them in. Like Dean is going to be Dean, no matter if it's Sniper.
Yeah, they still need to be who they are, but I kind of still stand by. You are allowed a little bit more wiggle room in their characterizations as well.
Oh yeah.
When it's an AU, because if mom didn't die when they were 4 and 9 months old, then, or 6 months old, sorry, then it's a whole different. It changes a lot in a person losing a parent, and John changed a lot, so the interrelationships changes.
Yes.
Yeah.
I agree completely with that. You do have a little bit more wiggle room.
That's a hard thing to say fast.
So yes, I agree completely with that.
Yeah. So how long have you been writing AUs for, Tiara?
It's been a couple years. I started in about early 2015. I think I want to say Professor John Winchester was my first one, but I don't think that's right. I've written so many, so it's kind of hard to keep track of when I wrote them and all of that. But it's been a good few years.
Did you start writing in AUs, or did you start writing in canon for whatever fandom you started writing for?
No, actually, I started writing in canon verse for Supernatural.
Yeah.
They were my first fandom that I wrote for, and it was strictly canon. I was kind of really strict with wanting to keep it canon. It happened this way on a show, so it needs to happen this way. But then, I don't know, I think I saw a picture of Jeffrey Dean Morgan dressed a certain way, and I was like, hey, what would happen if this went that way? So that's when I was like, all right, we'll try it, and we'll see how it goes.
Pretty cool. I mean,
I'm trying to remember. Rachel, you definitely started in canon, right?
Writing?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think, yeah.
I think I did 2 minor one-shots, but my first major series was When You Least Expected, which is Mechanic Dean. So I kind of switched into the AUs early on.
Now, my first, I might have done I don't really think I did much with AUs until really recently. Well, recently, last year with Crack Under Pressure was my first one.
No, because the Sam one wasn't really. That was more canon divergence than AU.
Oh yeah, the Lawyer Sam one.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it stayed true until about. Well, I mean, there were still demons, and it was canon. I would say that canon divergence, which just goes to show how really fuzzy some of these definitions are.
I also really think there's a huge difference in if you ask one person and if you ask another person.
Definitely.
Right now, I'm running the SPN Angst bingo, and Steph and Taylor and I were discussing what constitutes an AU, and because we got a question into the SPN Angst block, bingo block. And we decided we don't want to decide that for everyone, because even just amongst the 3 of us, we couldn't boil it down to what it was, because we had different interpretations of what an AU is.
It's subjective. So, there's so many definitions in the fandom worlds that are just so fuzzy. They mean different things to different people.
And I think especially in a world like SPN, where where you can throw them into a friend's mistake world and still call it canon because they've done that.
Yeah. And they've done so much.
Yeah, and yin dreams and time traveling and Rachel and I are writing a thing right now where it's.
Don't give away too much.
No, I'm not giving it away, but I would call that canon, and I know Rachel will call it canon.
Oh, yeah.
But I'm pretty sure if you ask someone else, they would tell us it's an AU.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. It's so fuzzy.
Yeah.
Which, shameless plug, keep an eye out for the first chapter of that coming up eventually.
I'm always going to tease the cover and the preview, even though Rachel doesn't do that, but I'll throw that up on my blog a week before we start posting the thing.
It has nothing to do with anything we're talking about. We're just so freaking
Not
excited.
at all. We're just shamelessly self-plugging.
Which I'm supposed to be working on, like, you know.
Yeah.
Let's move on to that relevant.
If we're getting back to our guests, where do you find inspiration for your AUs? Because you do write a lot of them, Tiara.
Yes. The inspiration for my AUs can be anything. Like I saw that picture of Jeffrey Dean Morgan when he was in his early 20s, and he had the fedora and he was wearing a suit. And that was the inspiration for Gangster John.
Oh, I read that one for this.
It can be anything from a picture or something I'm watching on Netflix, which is where Blue Bloods came from.
Yeah, that's actually Blue Bloods is actually the name of the TV series, isn't it?
Actually, the name of the TV series. So I just kind of gave the same title for the fic. I'm horrible with coming up with titles, so it's every writer's bane of their existence. So, like, I can just be talking with Mimi and my girlfriend Tara, and it'll just be like, "Hey, this looks like this. Do you think you can do it?" And I was like, "All right, let's do it."
Yeah. What about you, Rachel? Where do you get your inspiration from? Watching too much football.
That's true. I was about to say, I guess it's everything that my life for me is my inspiration, if that makes sense. Like, I was working football games over the season. Like, I was working at the stadium every week. That's how Jensen became a football player, because I wanted to see how a shy college-age Jensen would do it.
Okay, we have now established you can't say Jensen and Tiara can say wiggle room, and I'm Danish.
Okay, you don't. First off, pokey thing. You whack him with a pokey thing. Let's start with there.
I didn't whack Jensen with a pokey thing. I whacked Dean with a pokey thing.
I'm aware. I'm well aware. But back to the actual question. I was working at the stadium, and I wanted to know how Jensen would respond with 100,000 people screaming at him over and over again. And in that same vein, there were posts on Facebook responding to that same game, the same situation, and people.
I remember this.
Yeah, people were absolutely shitty. And I was like, that's a lot for a college kid to have to deal with. So,
and wasn't it a pastor saying that he wanted to physically hurt?
A pastor posted on his Facebook page that he wanted to punch the kicker in the throat. Oof. And my mom was the one that actually responded. And that it's so funny because the exact I put the exact transcript of the conversation in Crack Under Pressure. So if you want to go find that, read that, because that shit actually happened, and that was the inspiration for that, and that's where the name came from. So there's things like that, and then there's like with the one we're working on right now, it's very much like we've already established on Tumblr that a lot of it is very historic based.
Yeah.
So that was inspired by me getting my degree in history. So it's really, my AUs are very much established by what I'm kind of going through.
It's very much the same thing with me, because Thijs at Bind, I'm a social worker and the reader is a social worker. So that's kind of, it's not real life, but some of the events are pretty damn close to real life.
Pretty damn close.
Yeah. And with the Indiana Jones AU, I had the professor prompt for a challenge, and I didn't want to do a professor because so many people have done it.
Yeah,
and I have read a lot of them, so I would be afraid to copy Mimi or copy Tiara or copy whoever wrote Professor Campbell. Somebody did that. I don't remember who. I think that was Mimi as well.
Yeah, I think
yeah. But I was afraid to kind of not copy it deliberately, but have it in the back of my head and sort of doing it anyway. So I wanted to do something different, and Rachel and I both love Indiana Jones, so we kind of see it's a huge help in that fig as well.
Only because I have all this information. I mean, if I'm gonna get this degree for something, might as well use it for something useful.
Yeah, and Killzone was like Tiara. I was watching too much Criminal Minds, and kind of did my own twist and turn on what that would be with these characters that we all love and adore.
Which Killzone is no longer, like we said earlier, it's no longer on Tumblr. But do not despair.
Yeah,
it will be out in book form.
Yeah, it will, and that was the weirdest thing I have ever done, deleting something that I worked that hard on from Tumblr. So I was a little.
I think you're lucky, like
yeah, but it will be hopefully in a month or two. You will be able to buy it on Kindle and Amazon. But is there an AU that you want to write, but you have been hesitant to write so far? Let's start with Sarah.
Oh, yes, there is one that I have been. It's like I've been kind of wanting to do a pirate.
Ooh, I think we were talking, Kari, we were talking about pirates.
Yeah, I was writing a fisherman Dean, and I wrote Dean and his crew, and Rachel screamed at me she wanted a pirate AU. So now Tiara can write it, and you can go read hers instead, and I'm...
No!
There is plenty of room on the oceans for more than one pirate AU.
Yes, there's plenty of room on the ocean. You can join us. Everybody has their own take on it.
Yeah.
So it was the pirate one, and I've also been throwing around like a king/natural.
Okay, that's pretty cool.
So I'm not sure about those ones, but they're there in the back of my mind.
I mean, never toss an idea away.
Oh no, absolutely not.
So what does make you hesitant to write them?
I think the whole the language rate and the times being everything in that, in like the 1500s or the 1400s. I just want to make sure I would get everything right.
See, that's where Kari has a Rachel.
Yeah. And that's why when you say I write crap and I say that's okay because it's a Dean word, but it's not 1930s, and Rachel goes and find horrible ways they said that instead. Yeah, let's stick with crap.
Crap works.
That was actually a conversation we had before I posted the last chapter of Indiana Jones, my Indie Dean.
Yeah, that was pretty fun. And it's like all of the Rachel described this in our current work in progress.
Yeah, but that's okay because that's a collab, so I can do that now. I can actually order her around.
You can try, but I will still do what I want to do as established. Quick tangent for a quick story from last night. Apparently, Karina can sleep text.
Yeah.
Oh my.
We had an entire argument about me wanting to have a cat in this fic, and she was dead set against it. Like, dead set that she did not want a cat in this fic. And I'm just like, but why? It makes sense.
And it's for absolutely no reason. And when you see, when the collab is out, you'll know how much sense it actually does make. And I was just in my... I have no recollection of this conversation. I just went through it on Skype and I was, why the hell was I so stubborn?
Like there, it makes sense historically. It makes sense with the characters. It makes sense as a plot point. And she's still saying you have to make it relevant. You have to make. I'm like, it is relevant. How is it not relevant?
In my defense, I'm pretty sure that I was not sleepwalking. I was sleep texting. I have no recollection of this, and she kept talking to me at 4 a.m. in the morning. So.
Yeah, there's a quick tangent on. I don't know how I got off on that, but I just felt like the world needed to know that Kari does not like cats.
Do we ever know how we end up on the tangents we go off on, Rachel?
No.
Rachel, is there an AU you have been hesitant to write and really wanted to write?
I mean, sorry, I'm watching the chat and Anna's in the chat and talking about lazy asshole cats.
She's talking about what now?
Wait, she said, what do you have against cats? And I said, that was an excellent question. And Anna said, you're not looking at the chat.
Yes, I am now.
Well, no, you were. We're still talking about cats. Where is my cat, actually?
Oh, and hi, Kale. And yes, this is a thing. It has been a thing for a few weeks.
Yeah, 7. We're on week 7.
Yeah.
Well, we've had some skipping of weeks.
Yeah, we skipped a few weeks, but this is actually a week that we skipped because I was sick and then Tiara was sick, and now we're finally getting around to it.
Rachel has not been sick. Rachel has been chugging the orange juice. I cannot miss class and I cannot miss work.
No. Rachel?
Yes.
Which AUs are you hesitant to write?
I can't think of any, so I'm kind of stalling. But I really can't think of any. I feel like if I want to write something, I'm just going to, especially with an AU, I'm just kind of like,
Do I have any?
I think you're the same way. You just kind of write what you want to write. I've gotten to the point where I don't care. Maggie, what did I do?
Oh, I had the Southern thing.
Yeah, that one's. See, yours is hesitant because of just the political climate of the time.
Yeah.
But I don't.
Because I need to use words I really, really don't want to use, but to make it
historically accurate. See.
Yeah, and also to make, if I'm gonna do it, I'm damn well gonna do it, and I'm not gonna half-ass it if I do it. And it's gonna get, and it's not just the backlash it's gonna get, because I know it is, especially for people that don't know me and know that I'm doing it. And you have to stand against it.
You have specifically a Southern historian on your side.
Yeah. But it's also more just because I don't want to take those words into my mouth or put them on paper, to be honest. But at some point I will, because it's also something I kind of want to turn into a book. So at some point I probably will. If it's going to have a life as a fanfic first, or if it's just going to be written as a book, I don't know yet.
Well, stay tuned for that one. Yes, hairless cats do look like aliens. I completely agree with Anna. Sorry, Tiara.
Okay, all right. So we got a question from.
We got a question from Aaron.
From Black Tide 7, which is Erin, and she's usually around, but she usually drops in a little later because she's at church. So for the writers' room, what made you decide? Let's try this again. Now the Danish person can't speak. What made you decide start writing AUs, and which one do you find yourself going back to, if any? And Tiara, we'll start with you.
Oh, what made me start writing? I don't know. It was just the whole, what would this character different position that they're in now. So Professor John, it was just, it also fed off of a kink that I have, but it was
a lot of, where do you think Mechanic Dean came from?
Right? It starts off
We all
kind of
want
as
the mechanics to look like that, don't we? And they just never do.
exactly. So it was just, that's kind of what made me start. And which one do I keep going back to? Sons of Lawrence. That's the one that I keep going back to of mine.
You haven't written any timestamps yet, though.
I'm working on a sequel.
Yay!
You heard it here first.
I was very passively aggressively poking you for not writing the timestamp.
Yes, I haven't been
For a
doing
while.
timestamps on that because I have been working on a sequel.
And I also have one that you should keep going back to, but we'll get to that later.
Yes,
You already know
I
what
know.
one it is. It's your own fault. You send it to me. What do you think was going to happen?
It is my fault, and I fully accept it.
Okay, so actually this is a nice segue because you brought us some fics of your own. Sons of Lawrence,
Yes.
Blue Bloods, Predator's Obsession, Serenade Me, and the Steve one that I can never ever pronounce. Yeah. In my defense, Mimi couldn't either.
I know, it's okay, it's Latin.
So do you wanna give us an introduction to them? Just give us the pairing to each and give us a short summary for each. If we start with Sons of Lawrence, because you brought that one up.
I did bring it up. Sons of Lawrence is a Dean Winchester and female reader. It's also rated M. Explicit in everything, explicit language, sexual content. There is drug use.
Yeah.
Drugs. So this is not a.
But as you might be able to tell from the title, it's also inspired by Sons of Anarchy. So
yes, Sons of Lawrence is completely inspired by Sons of Anarchy. Yes, it's the Winchesters. They run the most notorious biker gang in all of Lawrence. They traffic illegals and anything else that makes them money and keeps them on top. So that's Sons of Lawrence, which, yes, sequel is in the works.
And the next on my list is Lanciel. Yeah, the one I can't pronounce.
It's a modern day AU where Steve Rogers is a college professor whose specialty is World War II. You, as the reader, work for Stark Industries, and after leading an excavation of Hitler's secret bunker, you find an object that was thought to be a legend. It is a Steve Rogers and female reader pairing.
And then we have Blue Bloods, which we also talked about a little bit, and that's John Winchester ex-reader, right?
Yes. It's the central focus is John Winchester and reader, but it's not the main story. The whole story is someone is burning down buildings and enjoying it. Someone close to John, the Lawrence Police Commissioner, homicide detectives, and the assistant district attorney, John's own sons, Dean and Sam, catch the arsonist before it's too late.
And it's kind of a crime-fighting family. He's Sam and Dean are both detectives, and you wrote Joe in as their not Joe, Charlie in as a sister. Right? Yeah.
Yes.
And she's a district attorney too.
Yeah. Charlie is an assistant. Is like the kind of like the second assistant district attorney. Whereas Sam is the assistant district attorney, who then later gets promoted to the district attorney. John is the police commissioner, and Dean is a on the squad. Yeah,
and it has a few sides. Yep. So I guess the Dean and Joe and Sam and
No, this one is just John. This one is John and reader. This one, I honestly Oh no, this one has Sam and my good friend Tara. That's one pairing in it.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think I'm confusing some of your stories.
That's all right. I get my own stories confused sometimes.
Okay, and the fourth one on your list is the Predator's Obsession. Can you tell us a little bit about that one?
This one is another Marvel AU. Steve Rogers and female reader as the main pairing. Female reader is also a plus size. So, because I am plus size myself, I wanted to actually do a multi-chapter fic dealing with a plus size reader. So it's in this current day Avengers AU. You were Steve Rogers.
Oh, we are falling out, I think. Or is that just on my end?
Yeah, it's kind of skipping over, so if you want to try that one more time for us. You still there?
There's Obsession?
Yeah, can you repeat that one again? Because it kind of sounded like you were on a loop or something, so it
okay.
We had a little bit of interference.
A little sound issues.
Yeah, I'm still. So, the Predator's Obsession or Serenade Me?
Both, because we didn't hear either.
Oh, okay. I see. I'm sorry about that.
That's okay. It's
so
just
the Predators.
Wi-Fi being weird.
Okay. The Predator's Obsession, which came from watching a lot of Criminal Minds in one day. Readers and yes, me too. Steve Rogers and a plus size female reader. In this current day Avengers AU, you work as a profiler with the Federal Bureau of Investigation. Your boyfriend, Steve Rogers, leads a close-knit group of supervisory special agents as they track a serial killer. And then Serenade Me is John Winchester and female reader. Excuse me. Serenade Me is a Gangster John Winchester series. Reader is a singer that works in Ruby's nightclub, and ruthless gangster John Winchester comes into the club and interest in her. And that's it.
Okay. And I said Sons of Lawrence and Blue Bloods are both inspired by TV shows, but apparently so was Predator's Obsession.
Sort of.
What made you want to put SBN characters into these specific TV shows?
Well, with Sons of Lawrence, it was basically brought about because I wanted to write them as bad boy bikers that were into all of these illegal activities. It was basically, Dean Winchester smokes, drinks, does illicit drugs. He rides a motorcycle around town, and he it was just major bad boy for the whole family. Mary is alive in it. It's just my major bad boy fantasy. And then, whereas all these bad boy bikers, Blue Bloods was about being the men that protected the innocent, saving people, the family business.
Yeah. So I'm pretty sure I had a thought and I lost it somewhere along the way of that. Maybe it'll get back to me. Maybe we can talk about with Sons of Lawrence. You said you were working on a sequel. Can you tease a little bit about that, maybe?
Boy, well, I can tell you the title for sure. It's actually gonna be Men of Lawrence. I'm actually pulling up my trying to find my doc right now so I can give you a little bit of a clue on it. But a lot of stuff is going to happen. Whereas you thought in Sons of Lawrence, a lot of stuff happened with Crowley and with Joe. This stuff is going to be closer to home on a lot of things. It's not going to be happy. It's going to be, I am a big old believer in angst. So this one is not going to be a very happy, fun-filled fic.
But Sons of Lawrence aren't really either.
No, you're right. It isn't. It's yeah.
I guess it kind of depends how you were talking to the person that likes hosting Angst Day and co-hosting SPN Angst Bingo. So I really enjoy the angsty fics, but it's definitely on the angstier end of the scale, since it's it deals with the same ways, with the same subjects and this crime family all the way through. It's not like it has sweet moments, but it's still in this very angsty world, if that makes sense.
No, I completely agree with that. There are happy moments, and then there are the dark moments. John shot and they don't know if he's going to make it, and Sam gets shot, and it's drugs, and somebody overdoses, and somebody else dies, and there's betrayal within this close-knit family that they thought they had built. And now with Men of Lawrence, there's a rival biker gang. They want to make a move for Colt biker club and this family, and they want to lay siege upon Lawrence to do anything and everything.
Colt is the biker club or the biker gang name. It's not an object, just for the people that haven't read it. I just think maybe that could get confusing. But yeah,
Colt is not an object, gone as a disable name. Yes.
But I also want to say, if you want to read this fic and you have never watched Sons of Anarchy, you totally can, because I really enjoyed it. It's one of my favorite series, and I haven't never watched a single episode of that show, and I still love the series. So it's not like Blue Bloods. I have watched not religiously, but I have watched some of the episodes. So, but I still think that it's written in a way where you can totally read the fic without having ever watched an episode of the show.
That's correct.
But I also, I knowing the Blue Blood series, if you have read that, if you have seen the show, there's also kind of Easter eggs and things to know. So I'm sure it's the same with Sons of Anarchy. They just flew over my head.
Yes, you're right.
So when coming up with an AU, do you cast the AU first, or do you have an idea or an outline for an AU, and then adjust the characters to that?
Usually I will cast the AU first. I'll have this idea brought about by a conversation or a picture or the main what if, which is every story basically. But if I can't get the characters that I want in the AU, I might either just put it to the back burner, fandom, one that has the characters that I feel fit the idea better than the original idea that came to the front of my mind.
So you actually do have an idea first and then put the characters into it?
Correct.
Yeah.
Quick interlude. Yep. Can you guys hear my cat purring?
No. Now I can.
That's a little mascot.
Yeah. Here, let me see if I can find. All right.
And I just saw I just saw somebody that said something sounded interesting and they wanted to read it, and Rachel answered but in the chat. But I'm also going to answer here that on every show, we'll always put the links to the fics that we talk about in the description of the YouTube video. And there is a link to a page on my blog that's called Writer's Room, where all the links to all the episodes we've ever done are. And the Tumblr post attached were links to the fics and to the books we talk about that you can go out and buy by some of your favorite fanfiction writers. So you can always go through that. Sorry about that. That was just me. Rachel?
Yep.
This is your questions. Come back here.
I'm here. All right. So for Serenade Me.
Okay.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but you kind of weaved that in with Mimi's Gangster Dean, right?
I did. Yes.
So
yes, go ahead.
So why did you want to use Mimi's universe in addition to yours instead of just having a whole different gangster?
Well, because I wanted to, I love Gangster Dean. And besides seeing the picture of Jeffrey Dean Morgan in his 20s looking like he belonged in a gang or as a gangster, I wanted to have the connection, some sort of connection between John and Dean in that era.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't want to completely rip off Mimi's amazing fic and her amazing character. I went to her and I was like, hey, so what do you think? And she gave me her blessing and she was like, go for it. Do whatever you need to do. And it wasn't that I didn't think I could make this universe and the character and the problems. I just wanted to have that connection of John and Dean in that era being able to work together.
And for
if I can, I think we can kind of relate to that though, because you two work closely together on fics, and you talk a lot about the stories you write, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's yeah. And it just popped into my head that Rachel, I have the Indiana Jones AU, and Rachel actually talked about wanting to write something that takes place previous to the one that I'm writing. So she's stealing my character. I'm not stealing because she's helping very much with this one. But it's. I think when you work very closely with someone, it's easy to be in the mindset that person is in and write sort of a spin-off, if that makes sense.
Absolutely.
Yeah. But that's going back to the thing that I think I have been saying all the way through, that Tumblr people kind of come in pairs.
Yeah, absolutely they do.
Sorry, I got a face full of cat.
That's okay.
No, she's sitting in my lap like she's a child. She's a literal.
Because she is a child.
She's a literal child. But about Blue Bloods. So one of the interesting parts of what I thought was the weaving of the past and the present into each chapter, like they were kind of interwoven.
Right.
So
I didn't want to have it be like a quote-unquote normal episode of a TV show.
Mm-hmm.
This big thing has happened, and now you guys need to do whatever you need to do in order to figure it out. Just kind of give snippets of what has happened and what is going to happen. So it's kind of confusing in my head than it is.
And I think
it's yeah, I just like the whole being able to see a little bit of they're in this position now, but how bad is it going to be?
Isn't that also kind of in the spirit of the TV show, especially the first season with the lost little brother? it kind of comes.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes, with Joe. Yeah. Yep. Definitely.
So it's in the spirit of the TV show, but without it being a copy of that situation.
Yeah. Yep. I don't ever want a copy. I want to and see how much I can play with it and make it my own. It works from there.
Yeah.
And I feel like with Blue Bloods, a lot of research had to have gone into the aspects of
oh my God, you have no idea. There was so much research.
And even the psychological aspect of the criminal who, spoilers, not going to say anything. But
right, the arsonist.
Yeah, the arsonist. Can you talk about your research in a little bit?
My research, the main research that I draw from for anything is I was raised on television shows, and I've watched Criminal Minds and TV, the cop shows that Dean doesn't like. And then I just kind of, I guess, like, somebody had asked me if, because I had written Sons of Lawrence the way I did with the casual and illicit drug use, if I myself had used drugs. And that they were praying for me and wished that I hoped that I wasn't. It comes down to how I feel something would take place. And with all of I did Google searches and
that's
psychology searches.
That's always been one of the things that baffles me so much, when people kind of assume something about you based on what you write. And I was like, how many people do you think that Stephen King murdered? He's a writer. We write these things because we don't want to murder people.
Yes, I agree exactly.
Yeah.
My research was the shows that I watch, and yeah, they're not always correct with everything that they do. So you just kind of have to do what sounds like it's gonna work, and if it's not gonna work, and into the psychological aspect of why somebody is doing something. So that's my research.
The way that I have been, there goes a lot of research into my AUs as well. And some things I just know because Ties That Bind, for example, is very much written on Danish law and law systems, and I looked a bit into American. I held it up against the Danish, and I tried to work in a little bit of both. So it's not gonna be that accurate to America, but I also never say where it takes place, so it can be anywhere. And with Killzone, it like I said, it's Criminal Minds inspired. So I watched the episode that inspired me to do this over and over, and then I actually went and looked up actual serial killers that fit this MO, and I looked up actual psychology of sharpshooters, and I did honest to God research, and I watched what works in fiction, and then I kind of tried to blend these two together. So I know that it's not 100% accurate, but I also don't think that fiction always needs to be 100% accurate. It just needs you can write a very, very accurate sword fight, but it will be so tedious to read. But that doesn't mean that you don't need to understand the mechanics of fighting a sword fight to write it. You just need to know what to use and what not to use, and what makes a good action-packed scene, and which fact you need to leave out of that, even though they are in your head, to make it work. That's kind of how I go by.
Yeah.
Researching.
That's
And then
you
sometimes
just have to find out what works.
Sometimes it happens for me.
And sometimes I don't have to research because I have a Rachel. That's the best thing about writing a very historical collab. It's just I can write all of these things and this crap. Now I have to go Google. Oh no, wait, I don't. Rachel described this.
Alrighty, and
you have a bonus question before I go poke at her for something I want.
Both Blue Bloods and Serenade Me. Your reader always calls him Johnny. Is there a reason for that, or you just like it, or I just thought that was funny?
I actually had her call him Johnny and Professor John too, but I think it's more intimate than the name. It's his name just isn't John or Jonathan. It's just a name that she loves to call him. It's between them. It's her act of intimacy, her calling him her loved a nickname that nobody else would dare call,
Yeah. I think I do that too because Sam was kind enough to give me the name, but D sounds like something that is also a very intimate thing that's either Sam that calls him that in a moment where he's weak and tired, or it's his girlfriend.
Yeah.
So you didn't bring Against the Ropes with you, and I can't imagine why not. And that's a Boxadine AU, and I love it. And it's your own fault for.
It is. You're welcome.
Yeah. Do you want to describe it, or?
If you want to, that's I can do it too.
It's when we first really started talking, I told her that I loved AUs, and she sent me some different ones, and this was amongst them. And I loved it so much, and I have been trying to get her to write more for it. I got a timestamp out of her, but it has been really long, and I know Mimi agrees with me. I got her to agree with me last week.
Yes, I know. I need to visit. Against the Ropes is Dean Winchester and female. It's an aging boxer that's breaking all the rules by dating his agent. It's only 7 chapters. It's really quite short. Yes, I know. I need to revisit it. It's too short. It is entirely too short. Even with the timestamp, I agree. It was actually inspired by my girlfriend Tara and I were just exchanging pictures of gifts, guys that were boxing or practicing, and one of them happened to look spitting image of Dean. And
you need to send me these images,
I will send you these images. And once
I never knew I needed a box of Dean until I read that.
Basically, me too. Till we saw the idea form inside of our heads, and we were like, "All right, let's do it and see what we come up with." And sure enough.
But it's a short series, and it's an amazing series, and a well thought out series, and it has angst and smut and fluff, and it's amazing. And if you have a few hours to spend of your day, then you should definitely go read that one. And go send her an ask and say timestamp when you do.
Or another series, or make it longer.
See, actually, just go tell her sequel. Or prequel.
Yes, go ahead. Prequel. Fill up my ask. That
could actually be really, really cool.
For me.
Yeah. I vote prequel.
Prequel? Oh.
Yeah.
That could be interesting.
It really could, because she kind of started in the middle of the relationship and where he was. So yeah.
Yep.
So,
yeah, I could.
From now on, I'm going to yell prequel at you, and I'm going to send Mimi an ask and tell her to do the same.
She'll get on me, that's for sure.
Hopefully she'll watch this and think it's a great idea, so there's more than one of me to point to.
Yes.
Okay, so that was it for your fix. You also brought some AUs by other authors with you that you want to talk about.
Sure.
Yeah. You want to give us the title and the author and tell us a little bit. Give us a short summary and tell us why you love them and why we should read them.
Sure, absolutely. The first one I brought is Someone to Watch Over Me by Dean's Dirty Little Secrets blog, otherwise known to all of us as Mimi.
Yeah, she's the one. She was on last week, and we actually talked a little bit about this.
Yes, she was on last week.
Well.
And we lost her again.
Yeah, I think you fell out. It kind of sounded like you disappeared into a jar or something like that.
And alone, Dean Winchester is determined. Yeah. It was seeing the fact that could I get
always
and forever that's built up. Yes?
Could I get you to turn on and off your mic real quick and then tell us, and then start from the top again, because you kept falling out again.
Okay, I turned it off and on. Yeah. Is that better?
I think it's better now.
Yeah. So with Someone to Watch Over Me by Mimi, with it being inspired by the movie Bodyguard, and excuse me.
It's okay.
Widowed and all alone, he's determined to pick himself up and move on, so he goes back to his job as a bodyguard of services. And his first assignment is an actress, his wife. I like in this seeing the fact that Dean will always and forever have these walls that he has worked so hard to build up to keep everybody out, safe and protected. But I like the fact that we get to see those walls break down.
Yeah.
And that somebody is there to not only be there to catch him when he falls, but to help him pick up the pieces and make himself a better man, because he was able to show that he is vulnerable. Yep.
Yeah, to me it's kind of it's a two-way street, which is very beautiful, because she's also broken and damaged and has a lot of issues from her past, and they kind of heal together throughout this.
They don't. I don't think they realize that they need each other, and then when they do realize they need each other, but they can make each other better.
And I also I really love Sam in this.
Oh yeah,
I love Sassy Sam.
Sassy Sam. There's always room for Sassy Sam. Also by Mimi is The Huntsman.
Yeah.
The reader is a wanted woman running for her life from Queen Freya and her huntsman. This one was written for a fairy tale challenge by SP and Ashley. And Mimi chose to have John Winchester as the huntsman, and it was in the realm of
oh, I read this one.
I can't remember the name of the movie.
I can't remember. Huntsman, maybe, yeah.
Yeah.
Isn't it the Chris Hemsworth one?
Yes, the Chris Hemsworth Huntsman.
The Snow White and the Huntsman, and the second one is just the Huntsman.
Yes, correct.
Kari's all
this one.
I like my Chris's.
So many. It's a crisis. It's a crisis. It's a crisis.
Yeah.
So many Chris's. But this one was just raw and dirty and gritty and beautiful. I just I didn't want to stop reading it. I actually think that at one time, Mimi was talking about branching out and having Dean and Sam, quote unquote, hooking up with other fairy tale princesses.
I guess Stana is gonna be a princess.
No.
You know, whatever gave me that idea.
So then for my next one,
I really need to go read that one because I haven't. Somehow I managed to miss that one, and that sounds something I really need to go read.
Yes, you need to read The Huntsman. Everybody needs to read it.
And
for my next one,
you also have
what?
You also have one of her Marvel fics on her from her side blog, Captain Rudyard's beard. All of a sudden, he had two beards. I don't know how that happened.
Oh yes, Three's Company. Yes,
interested in knowing where the second beard is located.
Oh my god, I had a really bad car really quick.
Oh, sorry.
So yes, Company is based a lot on the television show. Actually, it's a roommate. It's, Steve Rogers and the reader, who also happens to be Bucky's twin sister. After breaking up, you are forced to move in with your twin brother, Bucky, and his roommate, Steve. Living with your brother is one thing, but living with the man you've harbored a crush on the majority of your life is another. What could possibly go wrong? I think it's probably one of my, I would say my top 5, definitely, AUs that I love reading over and over and over again.
Didn't she write a Bucky spinoff?
It actually does, yes. It has a Bucky spinoff.
I read this one and I remember begging for a Bucky spinoff and I never got around to read it.
Yeah, it's actually called Perfect Strangers.
I need to go read it.
Yes, you do.
But I need to go read.
It's funny and it's cute and there's drama and angst and heartbreak and love and fluff. And then I had Dissonance by her URL changed since the first time I put this in, but it's now Booky, BOOKY, BUNS. It's a Marvel AU. The King of Death finds that he can.
I need you to spell that again so I can find her.
Yep, BOOKYBUNS. Booky Buns.
That's actually one of my. Sorry, I'm quick sidetrack. That's one of my favorite things. When people follow me, it's noticing the URL. So when they sign up for my challenges, so there are some really quirky, amazing URLs out there, and I love
it. This one is The King of Death finds that he can also control life. It's a Marvel AU, and the reader is Persephone. So it's a Greek gods AU with Bucky and the reader. And it's just, the chapters are short and sweet and exquisitely written and beautiful. And I can't, like, when I first read the first chapter, I sat there just staring at my computer screen in awe of just how amazing her writing is. It's really beautiful. And then my last one I have is Bones. This one is written by Steve R.S. And this one is based on the television show Bones. Steve Rogers and Reader Pairing. You are a forensic anthropologist working for the Smithsonian Institute in Washington, D.C. When you and your team get recruited by the FBI to aid one of their top field agents, Special Agent Steve Rogers. What Kim does is she takes episodes of the show Bones and reworks them and writes them so that they fit and the characters and not the Marvel universe, sorry, the Marvel characters and pairing you with Steve Rogers.
That's quite an accomplishment. There's a lot of Bones episodes, isn't there? Didn't that end at 12 seasons or something like that?
Yeah, there are quite a lot of episodes. This is still a series that's in process. It's not finished. I keep bugging her to write more, to go and read some and ask very kindly to have some more episodes written.
People I don't know, I ask very kindly, and then there's the people I know, I just say, write it now.
More.
Please.
Give me more.
Yeah. Prequel.
Timestamp.
Yeah. And Rachel, I just go sign up for this bingo thing and write all the eggs.
All of it, so much.
Yeah, she's pretty terrible. I don't know why anybody hangs out with her.
So, you picked me. Remember, you always say you picked me, so it's your own fault. So go read all these amazing fics by Tiara and Dean's Dirty Little Secrets, Captain Rogers Beard, Bookie Buns, and Steve RGXRS. Yeah. And we always like to finish this off in the same way, and that is some rapid fire questions. Do you have them ready, Rachel?
I completely
No, she doesn't.
She's like, no questions.
Meanwhile, is there anyone in the chat that has any questions? I think we lost a few people to chat to children and to sleep.
I have the right doc up. I just have to get to the bottom.
Yeah, we really need to put them in a doc of their own because.
I mean, I can find them easily. It's just getting it to load. All right, are we waiting or
Maggie was here?
Yeah, Maggie was here for a bit.
I didn't notice.
Maggie was here for a while.
Maggie is actually also coming on for
non-native writers.
So yeah, in a month or so.
I have the exact date somewhere. I don't know where they are.
We have Maggie is Winchester Sunason, and she kind of got busy and disappeared from Tumblr for a little bit. And me and Rachel are conspiring to get her back into writing. So I made her sign up for the SPN Angst Bingo, and we are bringing her on the show because.
Oh, she just asked a question. The Walking Dead Supernatural crossover. Mimi and I actually started one.
And she's also yelling at me. She's writing right now. Did you guys have a
yeah. Mimi and I actually started writing a to The Walking Dead and Supernatural. It's on my crossovers. It's called When the Dead Come Knocking. We have one chapter written if anybody is interested in it. It's been over a year since the outbreak and the world has gone to shit. Mary, Dean, Sam, Donna, Jody, and Letty, who is an original fictional character, female, have survived this long thanks in part to the safety of the Men of Letter bunkers. And then on a routine trip into Lebanon, everything changes. 2 chapters, I'm sorry.
Oh, that's amazing. Rachel got me hooked on The Walking Dead.
Yeah, we haven't finished it.
I still got a bit to catch up on, but I finally got to Negan. I think I'm mid-season. What season am I in? What season are they in now? What did they just?
8.
Okay, I'm mid-season 7 then.
Yeah, we haven't watched in a while.
I'm in season 4.
Yeah.
We hadn't watched in a while.
No, because the boat stole you, and then we kind of just forgot, and then we started writing.
And then school started, and then
Dean and camels and whatnot.
The camel.
The camel. He's off the camel now.
I know. I told your mom.
This collab that we were doing, we started over a year ago, and we wrote half of part 1 or something like that, and we ended it with Dean and a camel. And my mom, I don't know how I got to tell. I got a cool mom. She knows everything, and she reads my stuff, and she reads Rachel's stuff.
My mom reads all of my things.
And I somehow accidentally told her that Dean was on a camel. So for a year, my mom has been screaming at both of us to get Dean off the camel, and now Dean is finally off the camel.
Get him off the camel.
This is, by the way, this is a huge warning to what Tumblr friendships can turn into. I'm friends with Rachel's mom on Facebook, and she's friends with my mom, and I have a Skype chat with her little sister and Rachel, and yeah.
Oh, that's fun. That's sweet.
No, it's not for me.
Well, of course not.
To my little sister.
That's not much my mom don't know about me, and that's not, but the somewhat more traditional. So Rachel has a bigger issue what I accidentally might say.
Yeah.
And her mom's let some pretty amazing stuff slip, and Rachel will never hear the end of them.
Of course she shouldn't.
And then there's my little sister that'll voluntarily tell you everything.
Yeah,
of course. That's the way it's done.
And I actually at some point had every time Rachel annoyed me, I added it to a duck so Rosie could flick her for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's my life.
When one is across the ocean, what is one to do? Enlist an assassin, or Rachel's little sister.
There you go.
Alrighty, we're ready to get these rapid fires up and going?
Yeah. Absolutely.
Okay. It's just going to be this or that, and you just got to pick one.
Yeah, it's either or, and some are just normal questions like tea or coffee, and others are fan fiction writing related.
Okay.
So, mornings or evenings?
Evenings.
Cat or dog?
Dog.
Yay!
Summer or winter?
We got a cat person and a dog person here. Guess who's who?
I like cats. I'm allergic to, therefore, dogs.
And I like cats. I just like teasing Rachel more.
Summer or winter?
Summer. Summer.
Canon or AU?
AU.
Binge read or read as they're published?
Binge.
And first person or second person?
Ooh. Second.
Let's see. Series or one shots?
Series.
And how about for the last one, long fix or short fix?
Long. Give me the long fix any day.
Well, yeah,
that's so different from person to person too. The long or short. Yeah.
I want to be invested.
Well, that's all I got.
Okay, this duck is not. Talk amongst yourself. I need to figure out who's on next.
Next week is Erin.
Oh,
what
was Percy Winchester?
We do no. That's not right at the bottom.
No, that's not right because we needed to push her. She will. Anna will be on at some point. We promise. She's a very good friend of both of us. We just needed to push her episode for a while.
Not listening to me. Next week is Aaron.
Next week is who?
Aaron.
Aaron. Oh, I knew that. And Aaron is at Black Tide 7, and we will be talking about
blog maintenance.
Blogging things, running a fan fiction blog, replying to people, and how to format fics, and
all that.
Yeah, all that stuff that is sometimes a joy, because replying to things and reading feedback is amazing, but the formatting and the tagging and I think most of us could do without.
Yeah.
So that's what we're going to be talking about next week.
Alrighty, well, Tia, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for joining us, Tia, and
thank you for having me.
Go write a prequel and a sequel.
Yes, a prequel and a sequel and a couple timestamps and another sequel.
Yeah, just go write.
Alright.
Mimi just joined us.
Thanks to everyone in the chat for listening in and for being active. It's always a joy when people are in the chat and talking to us and asking questions. So keep that up.
All right. Same time next week, 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And Kari, what time is your? It's
2 p.m. Eastern and 9 p.m. Central. Central Pacific. Central. What the hell what is that called? Central. CET.
Central Standard Time?
No.
Oh, Central Eastern. No.
It's European. It's my little European time. So 8 p.m. CET.
There we go.
In Kari's time zone, be here at 8. If you're in my time zone, be here at 2 p.m. Eastern. So that'd be 1 p.m. Central.
Yes.
No. 3. I don't know. 2 p.m. Eastern. Go look up your time zones.
There you go. We'll be here. And thanks, guys. Bye.
Bye.